Vegas 5, Buffalo 1, 13-12 left in that third period. Keep an eye on those games, and I'll get you all the college basketball scores when we finish up with Mikey Domagala, and then I'll get you a lot of the overnight lines as well in the NBA, the NHL, and, of course, college basketball. Lots going on. And I haven't talked to Mr. NBA Buzz himself. He's a young prodigy, a young kid that has really made a name for himself as far as NBA basketball. I'm privileged to get him when I can, and I usually try to find it on a night where there's a late game that I know he's going to be up watching. He's a night owl anyway, but Mikey Domagala joins me from back in New York. And Mikey, now with gambling over there, and you're legal, you and your buddies, you're able to get down on those games the right way. You're able to get down on those games legally in New York. And I know growing up in the New York, New Jersey area, heck, man, there was a bookie on every corner, probably 2 or 3 of them you could get down if you wanted, but it's kind of nice to have an opportunity to do that legally. And in the Empire State, my goodness, they're making money hand over fist. It is crazy. It's an epidemic. But at the end of the day, as long as people bet with their head, not over it, it's a great source of entertainment. And the NBA, of course, a great sport to wager some money on. I'm just wondering, Suns and Nets, 105-96. Now Phoenix leads at 6:58 to go. Did Mikey D get involved in this game at all? Chris Paul and the boys, Devin Booker, they've been playing good, solid ball, and they look like the best team in the NBA so far this season. Mikey, great to have you back on SportsX Radio.
I appreciate all that. I did take the Brooklyn Nets with a live alternate spread of 11. So that's looking pretty decent right now, plus 11. And, Ken, I got to tell you, I'm not, self-incriminating myself. We may or may not have had our own bookies and stuff like that, but this New York betting stuff, man, it's great. I mean, every website, every app is offering free play. And with that, you could just turn that around to make so much money. You could bet on so many favorites, put $500 of free play on a favorite and make back $250 like it's nothing. So it's been money making all around here in New York. But I do know a lot of cases of people losing. But yeah, it's a good game tonight out in Phoenix.
Yeah, no doubt. Brooklyn looked like they were going to be in trouble early, but battled back, got a brief lead, 70-69, and then all of a sudden Phoenix went on a little bit of a run, now up by 9 as they go down the stretch. But a 9-point lead in the NBA, as Mikey will let you know, especially in a pace game where you have so many scores with Brooklyn and Phoenix, a lead like that could dissipate at any time. And we've seen some wild comebacks so far. How about the comeback the Clippers made, coming back from 35 down? Those things don't happen too often.
I watched them come back from 35 down that game, and then a couple weeks before, 25 down in the third quarter. So they've been incredible. A lot of gritty guys over there coming up from the G League, filling in for Kawhi and Paul George, who are out. Believe it or not, Ken, I lost a bet on that, a leg of my parlay on that 35-point comeback. So that felt, that was tough to watch.
Yeah, the games like that are ones you don't forget. It's the bad losses we remember more so than the great wins. All right, Mikey D, talk to me a little bit. Let's go to the Eastern Conference. We'll start there as you assess what's going on in the association. The Chicago Bulls, 32-18. We saw them get beaten down pretty good a couple games in a row. Golden State getting them the one game and Brooklyn beating up on them another game in the Windy City. But they're 32-18 right now, a one-game lead over Philadelphia, who's still trying to figure out what to do with Ben Simmons. Did they get rid of him this year? Maybe not get the asking price they're looking for, but maybe get a key piece, at least somebody that may be able to help them get over the hump and represent the Eastern Conference. Miami right there, they've been that one seed. They're also just one game back, sitting at 32-20, so a game back in the loss column of Philly, 2 games back in the loss column of Chicago. Cleveland, great surprise, great story. Game and a half back, as is Milwaukee. And then Brooklyn sitting in that 6th spot. Charlotte, Toronto in the 7 and 8 spot. Then Boston, Atlanta, and then my New York Knicks, who never seem to really get it together. They tease me. I got a win last night, but at the end of the day, the Knicks, one of the most frustrating franchises ever to root for, as I'm sure there's many Knicks fans in your friends and family circle that can attest to that. Talk to me a little bit about the Eastern Conference. Let's start with Chicago and Philadelphia.
Well, the East is the new West, Ken. It's like this Eastern Conference is loaded up. And I got to give credit to the top 3, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Miami. Chicago and Miami have been dealing with injuries all year to some of their top guys, and they've fought. And Joel Embiid really putting the team on his back, leading them to number 2. Chicago, I'm impressed with that they're still first because like you said, they went on that little skid, and that even recently they've been playing inconsistent. And I account that for Alex Caruso being down. He, like Draymond Green in Golden State, is like the anchor of their team. He brings the intensity, brings the defense, brings everything technically to just bring winning basketball to the team. So I'm so surprised they're first and 10, sitting 11. The Knicks. It's been tough after how great last season was and what Julius Randle did last year to what he's doing now. This team is better than last year, and they're worse. They have more talent, and they're worse. It's been tough, man. It's been really tough.
Yeah, no doubt about it. For a long-time Knicks fan like myself, it always seems to get tough. Right now, your bet plus 11 looking fat. Again, 5:56 to go fourth quarter. Phoenix 105, Brooklyn 100. Talk to me about this Nets team, because when James Harden is right, this team is dangerous. When Kyrie Irving's in the lineup, and that's road games right now, this team is really dangerous. What about the Nets? What do you see from this team? And when KD gets back, is this team going to be the team to beat in the East, in your guesstimation?
I think so, because at the start of the playoffs, everybody's 0-0. That's what it all starts from. And you would hope Kyrie would be playing full-time by then. Who knows if he's going to get vaccinated. But that's going to be a huge factor in how they do in the playoffs. James Harden, I think when they're all together, KD, Harden, and Kyrie, Harden doesn't overshoot, and he's really looking to facilitate, and that's what he's best at. KD does what he does, and Kyrie does what he does. So I do think they're the team to beat in the East. But like I was saying, the East is loaded, so we're going to be in for a treat this playoffs. And do I have Brooklyn coming out of the East? I'd say so, but it's going to be tough. It's not going to be like last year where, Kyrie goes down, Harden's playing half injured. They're going to be fully healthy, and even with KD and Harden, that should be enough. And, of course, Kyrie playing part-time.
All right, so then you look at teams like Milwaukee, Cleveland, and Miami. Let's start with the Milwaukee Bucks, a team that won it all last year. What about Giannis and the boys sitting 32-21, just a game and a half off the pace as far as best record in the East? How good is this team? Are they able to repeat out of the East?
I don't think so. I feel like they haven't made enough additions to do so, and the East has just gotten stronger. They didn't really make any moves this past offseason after the championship. They were without Drew Holiday for a while this year, and they are holding their weight in the East. I think they're fourth or fifth. But I don't see them repeating. Giannis is still playing out of his mind, still playing like one of the best in the NBA, but I just don't see it.
Chris Middleton, of course, is Robin to Batman. Needs to be consistent, and Holiday had 22 points tonight, had a pretty solid Game 5 boards, a couple assists. Bobby Portis, always stepping up as well, and Grayson Allen. They've got players, there's no question, and it's good to see Mamakashvili over there, the Seton Hall kid, contributing. And what about the DiVincenzo? Has he been able to find the form that he had going up until the postseason last year when he got hurt?
I'm trying to think. Is Dante? Was he hurt this year? I feel like he was on the bench a couple times that I watched Milwaukee.
Yeah, I want to say, but I mean, last year is when the injury really set him down. So that's why I just didn't know. I was going to you as far as to see if he's showing any glimpses of the guy that we saw really step up after they started making some moves. He seemed like that legit guy that was really a glue piece, and then of course they go on and win it all while he's down. But I always liked him. I liked him at Villanova, and he's just a gritty competitor, somebody that, just goes after it. And so with him and Connaughton off the bench, it's good to have those type of players coming off the pine. Milwaukee's got that. A lot of teams don't have solid contributors off the bench, and that's why I give them a puncher's chance, even against Brooklyn and Philly, Chicago Bulls, the Miami Heat. What about the Heat? Because this is a team that continues to impress me. I mean, they play hard. And they get you in South Beach. They're usually tough to beat.
Yeah, well, as Doc Rivers says, it pissed him off when he played the Miami Heat to see these underrated bench guys just going off against them, because that's what Eric Spoelstra does. He finds these guys, fits them into lineups. They have stepped up in wake of COVID and injuries happening, but guys like Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, so many other guys like that are just stepping up. Kyle Guy on 10-day contracts, filling in, and they've been leading Miami like to the third best record, I believe, in the East. Bam Adebayo's back. Jimmy Butler came off an injury earlier. They did lose to Toronto tonight, who's been red hot, but Miami's been impressive. They play it like a gritty style. They all have so many 3-and-D players, it's ridiculous, and that's the name of the game in the NBA right now.
No doubt about it. And you mentioned Max Strus. I loved watching him over at DePaul. I knew he was going to be perfect for the NBA. Talk to me about the Cleveland Cavaliers, because there's not many people that know much about this team. Of course, when LeBron was there and Kevin Love, K-Love's still there, but, there's not a lot of familiar faces over there in Cleveland. Talk to everybody a little bit about this Cavaliers team that sits at 31-20 right now in the Eastern Conference.
They've been incredible and so fun to watch. They have a nice mix of young guys. I'd say more young guys than veterans. But those veterans are so valuable. Kevin Love averaging like 17, 16 off the bench. Maybe in line for Sixth Man of the Year. He's really in that conversation. They added Rajon Rondo, who's been a great addition, to help, of course, as I mentioned, Darius Garland playing like an all-star. If he doesn't get in, I'm gonna be mad at that, because he truly deserves it, averaging his numbers, all his assists, and he sets up Mobley, another rookie, and Jared Allen terrifically. Then on the wings, they have Okoro, Lauri Markkanen, Dean Wade. They so many pieces who could just score, and they just know their role, that they play team first basketball, and that's why they're fourth. They're 8-2 over the last 10. You got to give them credit. They've been playing great.
No doubt about it. I love Markkanen over there at Arizona. Knew he was going to be a solid player. When I look at the 7 and 8 spots, you just talked about Toronto playing good, solid ball. They've won 3 in a row, 6 of 10. Charlotte also winners of 6 of 10 and putting up a 158 spot just a few nights ago. What about Charlotte? What about Toronto? Because I think both these franchises right now surprising their fan bases a little bit with how competitive they are. And for Michael Jordan Charlotte Hornets, this is a big year. I mean, you get 5 games over 500. You're sitting in the 7th spot. They've got to make the postseason and do some damage, win a series.
Yeah, I think it's not a coincidence that they're sitting in the same boat right now, 7th and 8th in the East. They've been so inconsistent this year. You'll get LaMelo Ball go off for great stats, but then he'll shoot bad. So that's kind of what loses them games. I've seen him shoot like 4 of 18 a couple times this year. But it's not all on LaMelo. They're a little inconsistent just as a team with their scores. Miles Bridges started the year playing like an all-star, and he's kind of not fallen off, but slipped up a little bit. Then on the other side, Toronto's been the opposite. They came into the year playing bad. They were down in like the 12th, 13th, 14th seed. Here they are sitting in 8th. They've won a bunch of games straight. Fred VanVleet, another one who should be an all-star, but Garland might take it over him. Pascal Siakam and Gary Trent, man. Gary Trent, 30-plus points and 5-plus threes in 5 straight games. He's like the 6th player in NBA history to do that in 5 straight games. So you got to give them credit. They have weapons. And Ken, early in the year, the whole rumors were swirling about who are the Raptors going to trade, but they have a nice core. And right now they're sitting at 8th. So got to give them credit.
No, I'm giving him credit. And Mikey D always enlightening me. I love him, man. His passion for the association, he's on it. Mikey, tell everybody before we get going and shift over to the West, how you got going for folks that maybe didn't hear you on SportsX Radio before, and also about, NBA Buzz and everything that you're doing, because you've got a bunch of different things going on.
So for a short roundup, back in 2012, when I was 12, I'm right now 22, I began the page NBA Buzz, which could be found on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Has a combined following of 3.2 million followers. That's just daily content of posting scores, highlights, trades, everything. The trade rumors are heating up, 10 days away right now from the deadline. Sorry to go on a tangent. From there, I started Inside Buzz, which is my show, where I interview all NBA players, Hall of Famers, and NBA personnel. I just had Gerald Green on, and we had great conversations about the dunk contest, his time in Houston, and so many other things. And also I have a ESPN podcast called The Truth with Jermaine Barnes, an overseas basketball player, where we also do interviews with Hall of Famers and current players. So that's kind of a round ball story of myself, Ken. And for everybody listening, I'd love the support and subscribing on YouTube and everywhere else you could find NBA Buzz.
Outstanding stuff, Mikey D. All right, real quick before we go away from the East, Boston at that 9 spot, Atlanta at 10, then the Knicks, Wizards, Pacers, rather disappointing. Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic. I've got the Magic under 21 wins. They sit at 11-41, which means they got 30 games left. You think they win 10 out of those last 30?
I don't think so. And you have to also give the Magic credit because they have a good core, and they're dealing with injuries. Jonathan Isaac and Markel Fultz are down. But they do fight in games. Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner has been great, almost playing like a Rookie of the Year. So they do have the pieces like Detroit right above them, where the NBA is just so good right now, Ken. And the talent is overwhelming. Every team is great players. Every team has scores there where a team has to be 14th and 15th, even if they do have a good core.
Phoenix right now, 118-104, Mikey. A minute 22 to go. You better you better get those guys going. I'll keep an eye on this for you. You got that plus 11 there as far as in-game. All right, so Phoenix sitting at 40-9, looking to go 41-9. So 41-9 in their first 50. This will be 11 in a row. It'll be the second time they've won at least 10 in a row during the season. It's a Phoenix Suns team that's hungry, and Chris Paul came back. Devin Booker just seems like he's more focused. DeAndre Ayton playing with a lot of passion again, and they've got playmakers, there's no doubt, and they've got some depth. And because they were that close to winning it all, I think the Suns feel that they are the team to beat, and they're going to go in confidently, but also knowing that Steph Curry's got his sidekick, Klay Thompson, back. Ja Morant and Memphis playing great ball, 17 games over 500. Talk to me a little bit about the West, the top three teams, Phoenix, Golden State, and Memphis.
Yeah, a little more top-heavy than usual, Ken. It's usually the opposite with the East. Phoenix has been unbelievable. Got to give credit to Chris Paul. Everybody's, loving LeBron, what he's doing right now at 37. It is incredible. But Chris Paul at 36, 37, averaging the numbers, he is always throwing 10-plus assists. And, man, he just makes everybody better. Bismack Biyombo off a 10-day contract. He's turning into prime DeAndre Jordan, catching lobs and stuff like that. Number 2, Golden State. God, they've been so fun to watch. Clay is back, so exciting for the league. And they've been holding their own without Draymond. He's the engine that makes that team run, Ken. He's really shown his value because every game, it's been close. And Warriors usually blow out other teams. Number 3, Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. Another great team with a great young core. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. That team's going to be good for a really long time. And then 4th, I got to touch on the Jazz, Ken. They've won 2 out of their last 12 games. They've been slipping without Donovan Mitchell, but even with all of them, it's been bad, and they're still lucky enough to be 30-21.
Yeah, now they lose Joe Ingles for the year, and that's a major blow. Yep. I mean, somebody that can knock down that three-pointer with consistency, no question, that is a huge blow to the Utah Jazz. Let's stay in the West again. Golden State, your take, Golden State and Phoenix, do you expect to see those two in the Western Conference Finals? Or what about Ja Morant and the cast of characters over there in Memphis? I mean, does he have enough help to get past Golden State or get past Phoenix, depending where they match up?
It's definitely going to be, depending how the seeds fall, Phoenix versus Golden State. I think the Grizzlies are a little too young right now, and they don't have they have a lot of firepower, but they don't have enough to really compete with Phoenix and Golden State in a series. Now, they might steal some wins against them in the regular season, but in a playoff series, everybody's going 150%. Everybody's locked in. Chris Paul would be playing for his legacy to get another ring. The Warriors would be in form by then, hopefully all healthy. So I think Ja and the Grizzlies fall short. Phoenix versus Golden State in the Western Conference Finals. Whew, that's a series. That's an incredible series. I could see Phoenix going to the finals.
Well, here's the bad news. Phoenix had 121. But the good news is the Nets had 111. Final score. You only lose by 10, Mikey D, so you get the money.
There we go. That bet hit.
There you go. Little Sports X Radio karma, man. I couldn't leave you in the dumps.
It was probably some kind of garbage 3. But that's fun in my book.
Exactly. All looks good in the bank account, right? As long as it goes your way, no question. And Golden State with that 4-point win in San Antonio. Hard-fought win, 124-120. They were shorthanded tonight, but a nice win by the Suns. They make it 11 in a row. 121-111 over the Brooklyn Nets, but Mikey gets the money in-game, take in the plus 11. That's good news for Mikey D and keeps him in good spirits while we keep him up late, about 12:30 back on the East Coast, and got some games coming up tomorrow. So before I let you go, Mikey D, in fact, let me just go back to the West so Laker fans don't say, hey, KT, you didn't even talk Lakers or Clippers. You mentioned the Clippers' 35-point comeback. Mikey D commented they had a 28-point comeback as well. But the Lakers, we know AD and LeBron, they've taken their turns being hurt. They've been hurt together. They sit at 24 and 27 right now. They're in the number 9 spot. Clippers in that 8 spot. What about the Lakers? If they got healthy, any chance this team makes a run? Because you know out West, I'm telling you, Vegas is like a mini microcosm of Lakerland, and those fans never give up. They're going to say, hey, we're only 51 games in. We got 31 left in the regular season to get right where we need to be and take a run at Phoenix or Golden State or Memphis.
It's tough, but it's not tough because of LeBron James. All-time great. He's shown that once the playoffs come around, he's a different monster. And him being a different monster from him averaging 28 this year, the most since like 10 years ago, would be a scary monster. But it really depends on the pieces around him because LeBron is extremely valuable. But when Anthony Davis is playing timid, worrying about injuries, and Westbrook is Westbrooking and stuff like that, that's how they lose the games, and that's how they lose to teams like Phoenix, Memphis, Golden State, who are loaded. Now, Malik Monk has stepped up tremendously, and he has to continue stepping up. And one thing I am hopeful for, Ken, is Kendrick Nunn being back. He's going to be an important piece to their scoring, taking some weight off other guys on the bench. But I always see this with NBA Buzz fans. They always say, well, they're 8th in defense, they're 5th in defense. But that's just stats. The Lakers don't hustle on every possession. They're not always there on every possession, and the little things lose them games at times. So I've seen them lose to Sacramento this year, other teams that they just should have beat, and it's just the lack of hustle, no matter how good LeBron is playing. I just don't like the crop of guys on the team. LeBron's not winning a ring with this crop of players. There's no way at all. But I think they'll be better than they are now come playoff time. They'll go on a little run. Maybe win a first-round series, but nothing further.
All right, Mikey, just want to make sure I got the Twitter handle correct, at NBA Buzz Mikey, and you do a lot of stuff on Instagram and whatnot. Give out the site, and also you talked about your YouTube channel. Get everybody that information so they can follow you, and those that want to watch you and get a chance to watch you get to do that.
Yeah, so personally, it's at Mikey Domagala on Instagram, at NBA Buzz Mikey on Twitter, and my YouTube account is just called Mikey Domagala. So everything I do, broadcasting on video and stuff like that, is all on my YouTube channel, all my interviews, school projects I did in the past, and games I call. So that's all on YouTube there, and NBA Buzz, just straight up NBA Buzz on Facebook, at official NBA Buzz on Instagram and Twitter.
And Domagala spelled Domagala, so 3 A's in a row there at the end. Mikey, if you had one thing that you wanted to do to add to your resume, I mean, do you want to be an NBA play-by-play guy for one of the teams in the league?
NBA play-by-play would be pretty cool, but I would love to be more so a reporter like Adrian Wojnarowski, Shams Charania, something like that. I mean, it's in my repertoire to do play-by-play, which is fun, which is cool, but it's a lot of travel and whatnot. I would rather be a famous journalist breaking news, breaking trades, and stuff like that. And actually right now I've been applying to full-time jobs and interviewing with a couple of big-time news companies in politics and in sports. So hopefully that'll lead me down that path. Everybody has to start somewhere, and hopefully that'll get me there.
A lot of talent, and we appreciate you've been coming on SportsX Radio for a few years now. All right, before I let you out of here, got to go with the Vegas angle, and now it's just the angle pretty much, I'd say half the states across the country, including finally legally there in the Empire State where you live in New York. Some games for tomorrow. DraftKings has lines out already. Sixers -9 against the Wizards. Anything in that one?
9 points is a lot. Washington doesn't have Bradley Beal, but they did fight tonight. I'll check the scores really quick. They lost by 14 to Milwaukee. Now, Kyle Kuzma played great tonight. I'd probably take +9 for Washington.
There you go. All right, then the Magic. Yeah, the Magic, who you said you like to play hard, they're going to be taking on Indiana, both these teams in the bottom four as far as the Eastern Conference. Pacers at home in Indianapolis, -5, 219.5.
It's all about how Sabonis plays. I think you pay a little more to take the Pacers there. The Magic are just sometimes they just fall short. So I would take Indiana there. And if Sabonis is going off and he's triple-doubling, it'll be a win for Indiana.
Hard to figure out this Celtics team. They're in Beantown. They're -4.5 against the Charlotte Hornets team we just talked about. Do you look at Charlotte plus the points or stay away, or do you look at the boys from Beantown?
I'm staying away from that one personally. Both are kind of the same grade of a team, a little inconsistent. The Celtics depend on how Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have been playing, which they've been playing nice, but personally I'm staying away.
All right, then those Knickerbockers, they're back at Madison Square Garden. John Morant and the Grizz coming in there, and the Grizz -3, total of 217.
If you're a betting man, you take the Grizzlies -3. As a huge Knicks fan, I don't bet against the Knicks, but I'm not liking it tomorrow at all.
I agree with you 100%. When in doubt, go against the Knicks. All right, Cavs -2.5 at the Rockets. And we talked about that Cavaliers team playing real well, playing better in Cleveland, but still, nonetheless, they may be able to get past the Rockets. Rockets had a tough game against Golden State last night. And I got to give Christian Wood, the UNLV kid, a lot of credit. Had 24 and 13 last night. This guy just comes to play, brings his lunch pail every night.
Yeah, the Houston Rockets have a nice young core as well. -3 or 2.5 for Cleveland.
Cleveland -2.5.
Free money. That might be free money. I'm getting on that right after I hang up with this call.
There you go. All right, Mavericks at home in Big D, -11.5 over the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Again, a lot of points. Dallas has been hot, but Thunder are sneaky good. They're without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now, but Lou Dort could pop. They got other young weapons. I would take Thunder with the points because they're another hard-nosed team where they fight. They have nothing to lose. They have three-point shooting. I'm taking them +11 or 12. I'm taking them.
There you go. Okay, so the Thunder coming off a nice win at home where they came from behind and end up winning going away last night. Jazz in Salt Lake City, we talked about them being shorthanded, and, of course, Ingles out for the year now. Complicates matters even further for the Jazz. They're -2 up there, Salt Lake City. Altitude won't be an advantage because it's the Nuggets they're playing that come in from the Mile High City. Jazz -2 at home against Denver.
I'm taking a 2-leg parlay. Probably would pay out nice. Nikola Jokic triple-double, and the Nuggets win.
There you go, getting the props in there as well. And then those same Brooklyn Nets that just lost by 10 at Phoenix, they fly up to Sacramento. They're -4 early line against the Sacramento Kings, and the Kings have been just a mess.
A mess indeed. I mean, the Knicks blew them out, so that should tell you something. But Brooklyn is on a back-to-back. Sacramento could shoot their way into games. I'd still take Brooklyn -3 or 4.
And Kyrie will not be allowed to play in California, correct?
Wow, Ken, that's smart thinking. That changes it. That changes it a little bit. I would think Sacramento would be like a +300. So I might sprinkle $5 or $10 on the Kings and just see what happens.
You know what? And then let me second guess that because I think he can play because he's on the visiting team. I think he can play. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that he can play. Nets at Sacramento right now. It's listed the Nets -4. They lose 121-111 tonight at Phoenix. The last game on the docket, Damian Lillard is back. But the Blazers still missing Lillard. They've got McCollum back, and Lillard will be out for some time still. Blazers at the Lakers. Lakers -3, 3.5, 221.5 the total from Los Angeles.
Lakers also don't have LeBron. So here I'm taking It's a tough one because they're like the same grade of a team as well right now, and they're missing guys on each side. I might take a prop in Nurkic going for like 20 and 10, double-double. And I'd probably take Portland.
Mikey
Great.
D, appreciate you as always, man. Staying up for KT, and you got your little your in-game bet there coming through while you were doing the yeoman's work over here on SportsX Radio. Really appreciate you, bud. The archives will be up by 11 o'clock Pacific, so you'll be able to let your friends listen, tune in. No commercials. That'll be right there at SportsX Radio on Twitter. It'll be right up there, pinned there. And I really appreciate you, Mikey. Always staying up late and kind of getting me reacquainted with the NBA, with all the college basketball and the NFL and NHL, everything going on. Sometimes I need you and Noah Parker. You are my two go-to guys as far as getting me caught up in the association. Mikey D, really appreciate you, bud.
Awesome, and I appreciate you keeping me updated with my bet. I'll call that my incentive for coming on.
There you go. Exactly. I didn't know if you were watching or not, but then I figured maybe not because you didn't get distracted at all, even when the Nets, they fell down by 14, 15 points there at the end, and I was like, I don't have the heart to tell them, but then they closed nicely with a 5-1 run and got the cover for you, buddy, by a point. So good enough, Mikey D. Appreciate you. We'll do it again down the line sometime soon.
I appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon.
Great stuff, my man, Mikey Domagala. And now we got about 15 minutes, folks, before we get out of here. SportsX Radio Live, KT, at the PSBR Law Studios in Vegas.